good evening to you RWL wrestling fans. We are in the Big D, Dallas, Texas tonight for the prelude to the RWL 2025 Sweet Revenge Tour. It's RWL Texas Thunder, the preview card. Welcome in, one and all. I'm Don Hickson, and we have got two full broadcast booths here. I'm joined by Christy Ogilvie and Myron Schimmelman, and the entire broadcast team from RWL Snarl, including Wally Cardell, Johnny Bianco, and Hangman Tex Lynch. They say they do everything bigger in Texas, and it certainly looks like that to me, Tex.
Yeah, Don, look at the place. Packed to the rafters, packed to capacity, and I'm telling you, this is going to be one of the best supercards of the year. 3 full hours of RWL mat action that ain't none of you going to want to miss.
And as is the case with every RWL Supercard, it is an all-hands-on-deck affair, and you never know who you're going to see. Just wow.
All right, Wally Cardell, tell them all about the first match.
Yes, sir, Tex. First on the docket tonight, it'll be Eddie Guerrero, Jake the Snake Roberts, Bret the Hitman Hart, and Greg the Hammer Valentine in a 4-way matchup. The winner becoming #1 contender, facing Rowdy Roddy Piper soon after for the RWL Legends World title.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to RWL Texas Thunder. The first match tonight, a #1 contenders fatal 4-way, 1 fall, with a 20-minute time limit. First, from El Paso, Texas, weighing 225 pounds, it's Latino Heat, Eddie Guerrero.
Well, I guess it goes without saying who I'm favoring to win this here fatal 4-way matchup to become the #1 contender and face Roddy Piper later on down the road during the Sweet Revenge Summer Tour.
We're of the all-time greats of the business, all vying for a title shot against Roddy Piper. I'm sure you're partial to Eddie Guerrero, but for me, there's just no way to call a winner here. But Mr. Latino Heat is almost certainly heavily favored not just by you Tex, but this Dallas crowd also seems to be in Eddie's corner tonight.
Well, of course they are. It's Dallas. Could it be any other possible way?
Also, from Stone Mountain, Georgia, weighing 236 pounds, Jake the Snake Roberts.
Jake Roberts, a Legends Division superstar enjoying something of a resurgence in 2025, a former No Rules champion before Magic relieved him of the No Rules title. And nonetheless, Jake the Snake continues to compete and to stand ringside with his sister, Rockin' Robin.
And Jake will be standing ringside with Rockin' Robin later tonight when she faces Alundra Blaze later on in the card. But right now, Jake the Snake is all about winning this 4-way matchup to get a shot at Roddy Piper to become the Legends World Champion. Man, this is our opening match. Myron Schimmelman, you have outdone yourself again. Wow, any one of these 4 guys would make a great Legends World Champion. I'm sure Jake the Snake Roberts would love to be that guy.
Also, from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, weighing 235 pounds, here's the excellence of execution, Bret the Hitman Hart.
The Hitman, always a winner in the eyes of his fans, and always a threat to upset even in the toughest multi-person matchups. His technical and submission skills always give the Hitman a slight edge. Can he really go against 3 other all-time greats? Well, Bret has never cared much for Rowdy Roddy Piper, and that's gonna probably be his motivation in this one.
Oh, he absolutely despises Roddy Piper. So you best believe he is going to do everything he possibly can to be the #1 contender for the Legends World Championship.
And from Seattle, Washington, weighing 252 pounds, Greg the Hammer Valentine.
You know, you got to admire the guts of Greg the Hammer Valentine. The last time we saw Greg Valentine, he was being stretchered out of the arena after a beating from House Tull and Dr. Zodiac of the MJ Ferrantino stable for pulling a foreign object on House Tull and getting himself disqualified in his last match. He's got to be all beat up and sore. He is my least likely candidate to wind up winning this fatal four-way, especially if he's still feeling the results of that last match.
Multi-person matchups like this can be extremely grueling and take a serious physical toll if you're not at 100%. And I'm thoroughly convinced Greg the Hammer Valentine cannot be at 100% right now.
All right, well, we got four big names, all with the same motivation, all with the same drive, all with the same goal. This is going to be a wild one for sure. Referee Willie Johnson rings the bell and off we go. Valentine and Jake and Bret and Eddie Guerrero have split up. Bret the Hitman Hart. Hard whip to Eddie Guerrero out onto the floor. Jake the Snake Roberts rounds up Greg Valentine, tags him with the right, and on the outside, Bret the Hitman Hart and Eddie Guerrero trade the shots back and forth. They lock up, they tussle. The Hitman shoves Guerrero back. Eddie Guerrero counters with a kick, and on the inside of the ring, Jake the Snake Roberts countered by Greg Valentine into a dragon screw. Eddie Guerrero with a kick to the midsection and a DDT to Bret the Hitman Hart. Jake the Snake Roberts escaping Greg Valentine's move, runs him down with a shoulder tackle, follows it up with a stomp to the midsection. Meanwhile, Eddie Guerrero gets his head driven into the apron by Bret the Hitman Hart. Jake the Snake Roberts with a long vertical suplex on Greg Valentine. A kick to the ribs from Jake to Greg. Arm drag from Eddie Guerrero on Bret the Hitman Hart. A chop across the chest. Eddie Guerrero with a series of kicks to the Hitman. The Hitman counters with an elbow to the leg. A couple of hard drives to Eddie Guerrero. Greg Valentine pitched over the top rope out onto the floor. Likewise, Eddie Guerrero. Jake Roberts with a hard right to Greg Valentine. And now Jake Roberts making his way towards Eddie Guerrero. And Bret the Hitman Hart's following him. Greg the Hammer Valentine out to lunch at the moment. The Hitman goes in, comes out, catches the kick to the midsection from Valentine, tags Valentine with the right. Eddie Guerrero in control of Jake the Snake Roberts on the outside. No countouts here. Referee can just stand by and watch. A clothesline to Valentine from the Hitman, Eddie Guerrero, abandoning Jake the Snake Roberts to move in on the Hitman, tags him with a couple of forearms. Bret the Hitman Hart being beaten back by Latino Heat. Bret the Hitman Hart counters Eddie Guerrero. Jake the Snake Roberts back in the mix again. Him and Greg Valentine get back into the ring. Valentine with a shot to the midsection on Jake and a running elbow takes Jake the Snake Roberts down. Meanwhile, on the outside, Eddie Guerrero and Bret Hart still mixing it up. They tussle. Guerrero shoves Bret the Hitman Hart back. A series of hard drags from Latino Heat. Bret the Hitman Hart counters with a forearm on the inside. Greg Valentine catches it right from Jake the Snake Roberts. A knee to the skull. The Valentine from Jake. Wait a minute, hold on now. Greg Valentine going back for the same trick. Just tagged Jake the Snake Roberts with that same foreign object. Eddie Guerrero with a drop kick on Bret the Hitman Hart on the outside. Jake the Snake Roberts would be out of it. Greg Valentine drops that elbow right across the back of the head of Jake the Snake Roberts. As Eddie Guerrero and Bret Hart get here. Wait a minute, hold on. Here's a cover from Valentine. 1, 2, but look at this. Eddie Guerrero making a beeline for Valentine and putting a stop to that. Greg the Hammer Valentine locks the figure 4 in on Eddie Guerrero. Eddie Guerrero quickly turning it around. Everybody's back in the ring now. Bret the Hitman Hart goes after Jake the Snake, falling suplex. Eddie Guerrero with Greg Valentine has him up, snap suplex, a headbutt from Jake the Snake Roberts to Bret the Hitman Hart. The Hitman whips Jake the Snake Roberts to the outside. Another suplex from Eddie Guerrero on Greg Valentine. Bret the Hitman Hart goes to work on Jake the Snake Roberts on the outside. Tries for the neck breaker and doesn't get it. Catches a knee to the midsection from Jake. Eddie Guerrero with the frog splash, but catches a couple of knees from Greg the Hammer Valentine, who's been able to hang with his other 3 opponents a hell of a lot better than I thought he would. Bret the Hitman Hart grabbed up by Greg the Hammer Valentine. Bret counters, gets a hold of Greg Valentine. He's got him up, sets him up, and there's a pile driver to Greg Valentine from Bret the Hitman Hart. Now he's going after Jake the Snake Roberts, spinning neck breaker. Eddie Guerrero seated on the outside, kind of out of it. The Hitman goes for the cover on Valentine. 1, 2, 3, and with nobody able to break the pin, Bret the Hitman Hart wins this one over Greg Valentine by pinfall.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time was 4 minutes and 21 seconds. Your winner, Bret the Hitman Hart.
Whoa, man, wow, and shut up, Bret the Hitman Hart. Pins Greg the Hammer Valentine, who was definitely not at 100%, Dandy Don, to win this matchup, and he will be facing Roddy Piper for the Legends World Championship somewhere down the road during the Sweet Revenge Tour, probably sooner than we expect. When I put this match together, I specifically asked Greg Valentine if he was up to the task. He assured me he was, but there you go. I was looking at maybe Jake Roberts or Eddie Guerrero to pick up the win in this match, but Bret the Hitman Hart, exploiting the weakness of Greg the Hammer Valentine to get a 3-count pinfall, and now he's the #1 contender for the Legends World title. And we are going to be right back with a whole lot more RWL Texas Thunder. Stick around, it's going to be hot.
As Texas Thunder continues, our first tag team match of the night, setting Bubba Ray and Devon Dudley. The Dudley Boys facing Splendid Bobby C and Sensational Fabiolas. Team Splendid. This should be a hot one.
Ladies and gentlemen, this next tag team match is set for one fall with a 15-minute time limit. Approaching the ring from Dudleyville at a combined weight of 565 pounds, Bubba Ray and Devon, the Dudley Boys.
Well, hey, no ring announcer is perfect. It's actually a 20-minute time limit. Bubba Ray and Devon, the Dudley Boys, coming down the aisle, all set to lock it up with Team Splendid, Sensational Fabiolas, and Splendid Bobby C. And, well, a lot of people don't like Team Splendid's odds against the Dudleyville Lumber Company. I really can't blame them. Well, Bobby and Fabi, they came to me, they said, it's a big card, it's an important card, we need a real challenge. I said, fine, how do you feel about the Dudley Boys? They were a little bit, resistant at first, but I convinced them it's definitely what they're looking for if they want a tough match.
Indeed, if it's a tough match Team Splendid is after, the Dudley Boys will certainly deliver on that promise.
There isn't anywhere the Dudleys have competed where they haven't come away with tag team gold, multi-time tag team champions everywhere they've ever been, including here in RWL. While Team Splendid comes to us basically straight from the indie circuit, and with a mix of teams like this, well, let's just say the smart money is on Bubba Ray and Devon.
Oh, Christy, don't sell Team Splendid short now.
Their opponents from Beverly Hills, California, at a combined weight of 475 pounds, Splendid Bobby C and Sensational Fabiolas, Team Splendid.
Well, thus far, in their RWL run, Team Splendid, with a fairly adequate win-loss record, but nowhere near any tag team gold so far. But that is not going to stop Team Splendid from competing and having a good time, which is really what these two Beverly Hills boys are all about.
This isn't their first run-in with the Dudleys, who defeated Team Splendid the last time they locked horns, and so Bobby and Fabi, as they're affectionately known around here, have come to Dallas looking for a little retribution. But will they be able to hang with the Dudleys in this second encounter? Bobby and Fabi insist they've been training intensely for a few weeks in anticipation of this matchup tonight at Texas Thunder. So, let's see if all that hard work has paid off.
I can't tell how hard they've been training through them damn sequin robes.
This is probably going to be a very rough ride for these guys.
All right, for wheel or for woe, we're ready to go. Bubba Ray and Sensational Fabiolas starting things off in this particular tag team matchup. Referee Tom Kanamura rings the bell. They come center ring. Fabiolas with a neck breaker on Bubba Ray Dudley. Goes in, goes behind, rear waist lock, turns Bubba Ray around a hard right, takes him down to the canvas again. Fabiolas rounds up Bubba Ray. Bubba Ray locks him up. There's a kick to the midsection, and there is a slow, deliberate neck breaker from Bubba Ray Dudley. Fabiolas gathered up a second neck breaker from Bubba Ray. Fabiolas rolling out to the floor.
hoping to catch himself a break. He ain't going to find one. Here comes Bubba Ray through the ropes with a missile shoulder on Sensational Fabulous. Bubba Ray charges, tags him with the right. Fabulous counters with a couple of kicks to the leg of Bubba Ray Dudley. They get locked up. Bubba Ray rolled back in. Look at this. Fabulous going after Devon Dudley, too. Talk about ambitious. Bubba Ray Dudley catching a series of shots from Sensational Fabulous, including a beautiful spinning back fist. And look at this. What an axe kick. Taking Bubba Ray Dudley down. Another, oh man, a rebound off the rope moonsault. Sensational Fabulous definitely showing off. Here comes Splendid Bobby C. Let's see what he's got. I guess they have been training, huh? Bubba Ray Dudley rounded up by Splendid Bobby C. And there's a wrist clutch kick right to the face of Bubba Ray. Bobby C with mounted punches, hard lefts right to the head of Bubba Ray, followed up with a stomp to the midsection. Sensational Fabulous going to work. He's got Bubba Ray's arm and he's delivering kick after kick. And now he's setting up to torture the arms of Bubba Ray Dudley. Splendid Bobby C stretching Bubba Ray. Nails him with a couple of knees to the lower back. Bubba Ray Dudley in big time trouble at the hands of Team Splendid at the moment. Man, another stomp to the midsection after more mounted punches. Another set of wrist clutch kicks to Bubba Ray Dudley. Down he goes. Splendid Bobby C comes in with a definite game plan. He is working the arms of Bubba Ray Dudley. And again, another pair of driving knees into the lower back. Bobby C steps out. Here comes Sensational Fabulous. Fabby with a knee to the skull of Bubba Ray. Quickly going for an immediate cover. 1, 2, a near fall for Sensational Fabulous. Bubba Ray catches a kick to the head. They lock up. Fabulous whips him to his team's corner. And now yanking the arm of Bubba Ray Dudley against those ropes. Fabby locks up Bubba Ray, starts driving knees into his midsection. And man, Team Splendid looking pretty good right now. Bubba Ray Dudley quickly counters, escapes the corner. He might want to think about tagging in Devon at this point. Fabulous whipped to the Dudley boys' corner. But Bubba Ray not quite finished. Look at this, grinding the eyes of Fabulous against the ropes. Bubba Ray Dudley whips him back into his team's corner. Fabulous counters, escapes the corner. And look at, whoa, another kick right to the head of Bubba Ray Dudley. A little Bruce Lee action from Sensational Fabulous. Devon Dudley comes in on the tag. Gets a hold of Fabulous. Escorts him towards the corner. Hit first into the turnbuckle he goes. Devon Dudley with a hard frying pan chop across the chest. Follows it up with a couple of kicks to the chest of Sensational Fabulous. Devon rounds Fabby up. Hard whip back into the Dudley boys' corner. And now Devon following suit like his brother Bubba Ray, yanking on the arm of Sensational Fabulous. Fabulous counters with a hard right. Delivers a couple of shots to Devon, yanks his arm, slams him down to the canvas. Fabulous rounds him up, a kick right to the face of Devon Dudley. And here comes Splendid Bobby C again on the tag. Devon Dudley in trouble here. Bobby C grabs the knee into the canvas on Devon. Devon making his way back to his corner. Locks up Splendid Bobby C. He's got him up over the shoulder, takes him to the corner, drops him head first into the turnbuckle. Snake eyes right there. Devon rounds up Bobby, whips him to the corner again. And a counter from Splendid Bobby C. Locks up Devon, whips him to Team Splendid's corner. And let's see what we got happening here. Head first into the turnbuckle goes Devon Dudley. Splendid Bobby C off the middle rope. A flying kick right to the face of Devon. Bobby rolls him over and covers 1. Only just a 1. Devon Dudley definitely with still way too much steam in the tank. Bobby C whips Devon to the Team Splendid corner. Tags in Sensational Fabulous. And here comes a double team from Team Splendid. Look at this, an air-assisted missile shoulder. And man, Bobby C watching as Fabulous does some showing off here. Whoa, running spear. And here's a quick cover. Devon Dudley out of commission. 1, 2,
free and get the hell out of here. Team Splendid with an upset win over the Dudleys.
The time, ladies and gentlemen, 5 minutes and 30 seconds. Your winners, Bobby C. and Fabio's Team Splendid.
Well, how about this for an upset win? Team Splendid picking up a 3-count pinfall over the Dudley boys, with sensational Fabiola's doing some serious hot dogging, getting himself a 3-count pinfall win over Bubba Ray Dudley following that spear. Just absolutely wild.
I like their theme music. Makes me think of the end credits from Help from the Beatles. Anyway, we'll be right back with more RWL Texas Thunder right after the break. Stay with us.
Up ahead, more tag team action as tensions between MJ Ferrantino and Too Short Popeye Scott Bell keep on heating up. A rematch between Ferrantino's new team of Lars Sullivan and Gene Snitsky against Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder, the Revival.
The next match, ladies and gentlemen, a tag team match set for one fall with a 20-minute time limit. First, accompanied by MJ Ferrantino at a combined weight of 576 pounds, the team of Lars Sullivan and Gene Snitsky.
In truth, this entire brouhaha between Ferrantino and Too Short Popeye began in May when Scott Bell walked out on Lars Sullivan for being disqualified in a matchup against Tex McKenzie, and the following week on Rage, he gave Lars Sullivan his walking papers by way of a candlestick. Told him he was fired, that his career was over, but MJ Ferrantino picked him up, dusted him off, and now it's been hot tension between he and Scott Bell ever since. You absolutely have to love the hypocrisy of Too Short Popeye. Scott Bell said to anyone who wanted Lars Sullivan, they were free to pick him up. MJ Ferrantino does it, and now Too Short Popeye's having a fit.
And to think, this business between Snitsky, Sullivan, and the Revival could be just the first skirmish in what could shape up to be the premier battle of this summer's Sweet Revenge Tour, with the up-and-coming Ferrantino challenging Scott's alleged authority, when the plain truth is, he's been stripped of like 95% of the power he once had, now brought down to just another manager, with just another stable. In my book, couldn't have happened to a nicer person.
Trust me, Christy, some of us that were here are still suffering from PTSD from the time Scott Bell was RWO commissioner some 12, 13 years ago.
The scars still haven't entirely healed for some, but we can take comfort in the safeguards to prevent a repeat of those days, put in place by Chairman Colin O'Toole and Scott Bell's father, CEO Jack McLeod. Scott will never hold anything like real power around here again.
A thought that makes me smile every time I walk into this building. Hell, he ain't even in charge of the Southwest region anymore. I gave that to Gene Barry.
I have no doubt that both of these managers are going to do anything they can to help their team get the win here tonight.
Their opponents accompanied by Too Short Popeye Scott Bell at a combined weight of 440 pounds, Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder, the Revival.
Please feel free to boo and hiss as much as you like. Too Short Popeye Scott Bell, Scott Dawson, and Dash Wilder, the Revival. And the Revival, part of Bell Unlimited, a stable that, well, it is a far cry from the days of when Too Short was commissioner, when he commanded people like Hulk Hogan, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, Macho Man Randy Savage, and Warlord Santos. Now he's reduced to what they call a ragtag group. Ha!
You get what you deserve in this business, Tex, and I can't think of anyone more deserving of misery than Too Short.
The Revival could still pull off an upset tonight, as they truly do have a modicum of ring skills, even if they are punching down by associating themselves with Bell. There's some that think Dawson and Wilder are being held back from tag team gold based solely on their connection to Scott Bell. If that sounds discriminatory, trust me, it ain't by accident.
Or are you implying that me and Steve and Colin are all trying to hold the Revival back? Shame on you, Johnny. Shame, shame, shame. And naturally, as a booking agent, everyone looks at me and says the same thing. Why, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Get a look at the puppy dog eyes on Myron, as if to say, oh, feigning such innocence. Oh my goodness, that is rich.
Yeah, Myron's a card, all right. But he does have a point. Looks like Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder, if they ever want anything like a tag team title shot, they are going to have to earn it, and earn it big.
And it would take the wildest chain of events to allow that to even happen. Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder nonetheless looking very much ready for this matchup against Gene Snitsky and Lars Sullivan, but they are definitely outsized, outweighed, outgunned, and outpowered.
And what do you do when you're in that situation? You have your manager cheat for you. Wait and see.
Myron, I'd be real surprised if that didn't happen. Gene Snitsky and Dash Wilder going to start this tag team match out as Willie Johnson sounds the bell. The men come center ring. Snitsky goes behind on Dash Wilder. Has him up, takes him down to the canvas, right into a headlock right away. Hard shot right to the head of Dash Wilder. Snitsky rounded up by Wilder, a snap suplex from Dash. Dash Wilder, oh man, countered by Snitsky with an arm drag. A kick. A counter from Snitsky. A counter from Dash Wilder that takes Snitsky down to the canvas. And look at this, Dash Wilder going to work on the legs of Gene Snitsky, a possible submission here, but it is way too early in the game for that to even hope to work. Gene Snitsky rolls him up into a small package. Look at this one. Oh, man. Well, this one's going to be a ride and a half, I can tell right now. Gene Snitsky rounds up Dash Wilder, whips him to his team's corner. Dash counters and escapes the corner. Snitsky counters. Dash counters. Oh, nice uppercut from Dash Wilder. A nice arm drag from Snitsky. Another counter from Dash. He's fast tonight. Snitsky counters with an elbow and a jumping neckbreaker that takes Dash Wilder down to the canvas. Snitsky putting the boots to Dash Wilder while he's down. Let's see what we got going on here. A stump puller from Snitsky. Oh, man. Dash Wilder counters and finds his way out. Snitsky with an elbow takes him right back down again. Snitsky countered by Dash Wilder. Out onto the apron. Dash beating it out of town. Here comes Scott Dawson. Snitsky and Scott Dawson on the outside. Snitsky driven into the Spanish announce table. Scott Dawson liked it so much he's going to do it again. Gene Snitsky quickly counters with a hard left. Dash Wilder counters with a kick to the midsection. Snitsky counters with a slap to the face. Whoa. Jawbreaker from Dawson. A hard right counter from Snitsky. Another counter from Scott Dawson. Whoa, man. Scott Dawson with a kick and a DDT. Out there on the floor for Gene Snitsky as the referee continues to count. Scott Dawson with Snitsky by the trunks. He's got him up. Crashing brainbuster. Oh, man. Snitsky with a chop. Countered by Scott Dawson. A clothesline takes Snitsky down again. Oh, this one's going to be intense no matter who wins. Scott Dawson with a series of jabs and a shot to Snitsky. A whole bunch of jabs and punches rolls Snitsky back inside the ring. But Snitsky with a quick tag to Lars Sullivan. Scott Dawson taken down with a clothesline. Followed up with another one. Lars Sullivan with a throat chop to Scott Dawson that stuns him. And a headbutt that takes him all the way down to the canvas. Followed up with a stomp to the back. Lars Sullivan being distracted by Too Short. I knew this was going to happen sooner or later. Scott Dawson taking advantage of the distraction. Inverted DDT to Lars Sullivan. And Scott Dawson gets caught up by Lars Sullivan. Whipped to the ropes and quickly escapes the corner. Lars Sullivan gathered up, being escorted to the Revival's corner, but a series of elbows to the midsection politely declines the invitation. Scott Dawson counters hard. Lars Sullivan counters harder with a headbutt. Has him up, drops him down like a bad habit, follows it up with a stomp to the face. Scott Dawson losing that argument quick as Lars Sullivan starts laying in driving knees into the head of Scott Dawson over and over and over again. Oh, that's going to hurt. Lars Sullivan dragging Scott Dawson towards his team's corner. He steps out. In comes Gene Snitsky. Oh, man, Scott Dawson catches a knee right to the head. And what in the hell we got going on here? Look at this. MJ Ferrantino decides he's going to get in on the act. And there's going to be a triple power bomb for Scott Dawson. An unpleasant ride, and boom, there it is. Oh, man, he is busted open, bleeding. And oh, well, look at this. Scott Bell with a distraction to the referee. Probably didn't even see that triple power bomb happen. Otherwise, Ferrantino would be out of there. Scott Dawson with a dragon screw on Gene Snitsky. Dawson gathers him up again, but Snitsky counters with a shoulder tackle, takes him down. Scott Bell introduces a chair into the ring. Dawson shoves Snitsky away, and he crashes right onto that steel chair. Referee needs to get that thing the hell out of there. A back body drop to Scott Dawson. Would have served him right if it had been on that damn chair. Snitsky slams him face first into the canvas, and look at this pin right here. 1, 2, well now, would have been nice, but wasn't in the cards. Snitsky slowly making his way back to his corner, tags in Lars Sullivan. Scott Dawson is laid out. Willie Johnson finally getting rid of that damn chair. Scott Dawson tries for the chop block. Lars Sullivan just a step too quick. Dawson counters with an elbow. Takes Lars Sullivan down. And I'm betting he's busted open, bleeding, no doubt feeling a little bit fatigued at the moment. Dawson rounds up Lars Sullivan, whips him to the Revival's corner. And here comes Dash Wilder on the tag. Here's the double team. Look at this. Oh, man. Drives both knees into the midsection of Lars Sullivan and immediately covers. But Gene Snitsky right there to prevent it from even becoming a one. Scott Dawson with a DDT on Snitsky. Both members of the team laid out as Dash Wilder rounds up the legal man, Lars Sullivan. But Sullivan takes him down with a clothesline. Gene Snitsky still laid out as Sullivan rounds up Dash Wilder. One arm slams him. Scott Dawson trying to get involved, but no good. Here's a cover. Oh, man, Scott Bell interceding on behalf of his team. Snitsky leg sweeps Scott Dawson out of the way. Lars Sullivan looking supremely confident. No doubt MJ Ferrantino feeling supremely confident at the moment. Hard shot to Scott Dawson. Out he goes. Dash Wilder moves in on Lars Sullivan, tags him with a hard right. Rounds him up, slams him down hard. Dash Wilder follows it up with a stomp. Begins to drag Lars Sullivan towards center. Turns his head, follows it up with a stomp to the side of the head. Sullivan back inside the ring. Rounds up Dash Wilder. Crashes with a backbreaker. Sullivan countered by Dash. There's a nice uppercut. A forearm, another. Lars Sullivan up against the ropes and now down on one knee at the hands of Dash Wilder. Wilder with another uppercut. And now into a blatant choke on Lars Sullivan. It's about the only way he can ever get any real advantage. Sullivan back inside. Gets a hold of Dash and pitches him halfway across the ring towards the far corner. Dragging Dash Wilder towards his team's corner. Dash Wilder quickly steps out, quickly steps back in. Gets a hold of Lars Sullivan. Taking him towards the Revival's corner. Changes his mind. There's a snapmare and a kick to the back to Lars Sullivan. Dash Wilder starting to wind it up here. Follows it up with a stomp. Sullivan rolls out of the ring. Rolls back in. Gets a hold of Dash. Whips him to his team's corner. Here comes Gene Snitsky. Hard shot to the midsection from Snitsky. Dash Wilder counters with an elbow. Snitsky counters with a hard right. Kick to the midsection from Snitsky. He's got a hold of Dash. He's got him up and just lets him fall. Whoa! Here's a cover. Whoa! Look! Whoa! Too short. Pulling out the referee, Willie Johnson, having words with Too Short, and I guarantee you he is going to be out of here. Willie Johnson does not play these games. Scott Bell begging for a second chance here, but it's no good. Willie Johnson said it's final. He gets the hell out. Yeah, Scott Dawson clothesline Sullivan. Oh, Sullivan slams him down. Lars Sullivan making his way to the top turnbuckle as Scott Bell beats it to the back. Diving headbutt to Scott Dawson. Lars Sullivan countered by Scott Dawson. Dawson Dawson, running DDT on Lars Sullivan. And down he goes. Scott Dawson dragging Lars Sullivan towards the center of the ring. Scott Dawson continues dragging. Lars Sullivan goes for a cup. I see what he's doing, trying for the illegal pin, using his feet on the ropes. That did not work out very well for Scott Dawson. Dawson catches a knee to the face from Lars Sullivan. Sullivan rounds him up, has him up big time. One arm slam from Lars Sullivan. Here's the cover with a hook of the leg. 1, 2, 3, and that is it. Snitsky going off on Dash Wilder too. Snitsky and Sullivan defeat the Revival by pinfall.
The time, precisely 10 minutes. Your winners, Sullivan and Snitsky.
Lars Sullivan and Gene Snitsky laying absolute waste to the Revival, much to the delight of Snitsky, Sullivan, and their manager MJ Ferrantino, and indeed to the delight of the fans here in the Big D tonight.
The match has been set for 20 minutes, but Sullivan and Snitsky wrapping this one up in just half the time, and successfully keeping the momentum on their side for most of the match, never letting the Revival get too much of an upper hand. And how about Sullivan being the one to pick up the pinfall over former stablemate Scott Dawson? Hey, I just loves me some poetic justice. I bet Scott regrets calling Lars stupid now.
With Sullivan being the guy to pick up both wins in both matches against the Revival. Too Short's the only one around here, looking stupid, and it's proven again, and Jay Ferrantino has got something going on with success lately. A solid win for Sullivan and Snitsky. What a pair these two are gonna make.
That is true, folks. More Texas Thunder right after the break. We'll be right back.
Our First Ladies Legends Division matchup next, with Alundra Blaze in her first encounter with the blazing hot Rockin' Robin along with Jake the Snake Roberts.
Rockin' Robin is amazing. 2 months in and she still hasn't broken a single rule.
This next Ladies Legends match is set for one fall with a 15-minute time limit. Introducing first, from Miami, Florida, here's Alundra Blaze.
Whether you know her as Medusa Michelli or Alundra Blaze, that woman making her way to the ring has been around a long time, has seen a lot of action, has had a lot of matches, has held a lot of championships. And Alundra Blaze is here tonight in Dallas for her first matchup with Rockin' Robin. This ought to be great. Really looking forward to this one.
Hang on, excuse me a minute, guys. Fire!
I knew he was going to do that. I absolutely knew the whole time.
Her opponent, along with Jake the Snake Roberts from Charlotte, North Carolina, Robin.
Robin's back after a seriously short break, and primed for this first-time dust-up with Alundra. You know, guys, I had a chance to talk with Robin in Houston about her future plans, and they were no surprise at all. She's got her eye on some Ladies Legends gold, which, of course, would be a concern to Patty Powers and Danielle Heathcote, who are currently the holders of any such titles that Robin might be focused on. But it's going to be a long summer. And a long tour, so I'm sure that's going to happen at some point before the tour ends in September.
You got that right, Christy. It has to happen sooner or later.
It has been a great card so far, and Myron, if I was wearing a hat, I'd take it off to you. Willie Johnson sounds the bell. The ladies come center ring. They lock up. Alundra Blaze goes behind on Rockin' Robin. Got that waist lock cinched in pretty good. Rockin' Robin trying to find her way out. Here's a snapmare counter into a rear headlock. Robin drives a knee into Alundra Blaze's back. They lock up again. Alundra Blaze pushing her up against the ropes. Referee Willie Johnson may have to intercede. Well, wait a minute, maybe not. Hey, we got a clean break. They lock up again. They tussle. Robin shoves Alundra Blaze back, tries for the leg sweep, doesn't get one. Catches the right. Alundra catches an elbow. They lock up again with Alundra Blaze. Again, pushing Rockin' Robin into the corner. Willie Johnson moves in. He's not going to intercede this time either. Look at this. Another clean break. How about that? Huh. Okay. Rockin' Robin whipped to the far corner, rebounds out Alundra Blaze, snaps the arm. Here's a drop toe hold from Rockin' Robin. Robin sets up Alundra Blaze. Let's see where she's going with this. Measures the weight, has it up, vertical suplex for Alundra Blaze. Rockin' Robin moves in, follows it up with a stomp. Rounds up Alundra. Alundra counters, slams Rockin' Robin face down into the canvas. A chop, but countered by Robin with a hard right. And a double shot that takes down Alundra Blaze. Look at this, Rockin' Robin on fire here. Rounds up Alundra Blaze. Twitches her up against the ropes. Yanks the rope. There's a top rope hangman to Alundra Blaze. Rockin' Robin delivers the stomp. Rebounds off the ropes. Elbow drop right across the chest of Alundra Blaze. Jake the Snake Roberts watching his sister work. She is not doing too bad tonight. Alundra Blaze, quick with the counter, shoves Robin away, moves in. Whoa! Nice Hurricane Rana from Alundra Blaze. Misses with the stomp. Robin counters with a kick. Alundra Blaze counters Robin, standing drop kick, takes her down to the canvas. And Alundra Blaze, working the crowd here in Dallas, makes her way to the outside with Robin. Robin counters her with a right. The referee's already started the count. Quickly slides back in the ring, both ladies. Rockin' Robin with Alundra Blaze up. Oh, atomic drop right to the tailbone. Robin drags Alundra to the center of the ring. One, but only a one. Alundra Blaze finds her way out of the pin. Robin rounds her up, puts her over the shoulders in the fireman's carry, but no. Alundra Blaze counters it into an inverted DDT. Follows it up with a knee to the head of Rockin' Robin. Follows that up with a stomp to the face. And a flip over neck whip from Alundra Blaze. Alundra working on a downed Rockin' Robin here. And now into a Fujiwara armbar. Referee Willie Johnson checking for a possible submission. Jake the Snake Roberts trying to catch a look and see if he can do anything to help, but no dice. Rockin' Robin finds her way out with a couple of hard shots. Robin whips Alundra to the corner, charges. Nice monkey toss. Beautifully done. Jake the Snake Roberts totally approving. Robin covers, hooks a leg, one. And again, just a one. Rockin' Robin's going to have to work a whole lot harder. Drop kick to the back of the head of Alundra Blaze. Alundra counters with another Hurricane Rana, just flipping Rockin' Robin ass over tea kettle. Quick counter elbow from Rockin' Robin back up on her feet. Alundra misses with the kick. Gets a hold of Robin, whips her towards the corner. Here comes Alundra. Alundra quickly countered and finds herself in the corner instead. Rockin' Robin with a wicked chop across the chest of Alundra Blaze. Robin rounds Alundra Blaze up. Hard whip to the ropes. Oh man, what a flapjack right there. Just lets gravity do the work. Again, Robin whips her to the ropes and does it a second time. Oh man. Well, Alundra Blaze starting to lose control of this situation here. Robin whips her to the ropes. Misses with the drop kick. Alundra Blaze misses with the kick. Alundra whipped to the corner. Robin has her up on the top turnbuckle, decks her a hard right, and guess what? Somebody is going for a long ride. Alundra Blaze being set up for the top rope superplex, and there it is. Rockin' Robin putting her well-being on the line for that one. Gathers Alundra Blaze up as Willie Johnson starts the count. Escorting Alundra Blaze, pitches her against those steel barricades, and then bangs her head against, oh man, that hurts. Alundra Blaze with a chop. Robin counters with a chop. Shoves Alundra Blaze to the other side of the ring. Makes her way to her. Rounds her up again. Rockin' Robin drives Alundra Blaze into the ring steps. Robin gathers up Blaze again. Blaze quick with the counter and a leg sweep that takes Robin down to the floor. Alundra Blaze countered with an arm drag by Rockin' Robin. Robin misses with that shot. Alundra counters with a kick. Kick to the midsection from Rockin' Robin. Has decided maybe she's had enough, going to take herself back inside the ring. Alundra Blaze with another Hurricane Rana on Rockin' Robin, and she looks like she's feeling pretty confident. Rockin' Robin catches a clothesline, catches a second. Look at this drop kick. Well, Looks like Rockin' Robin might be losing control of this matchup. As she is whipped to the far corner, Alundra Blaze moves in, catches a knee to the midsection from Robin, and the leg sweep, the rolling leg sweep worked that time. Rockin' Robin working the crowd here in Dallas, and they're loving it. Alundra Blaze catches a couple of shots to the back. Alundra Blaze whips Rockin' Robin to the corner. He drives a knee into Alundra Blaze's midsection. Alundra counters with a quick switch and a kick. A fireman's carry from Robin. Rockin' Robin escorting Alundra Blaze towards the ropes. Just pitches her out over onto the apron. And a drop kick. Drops her at the feet of Jake the Snake Roberts on the outside. Alundra Blaze laid out and motionless at the moment. Robin quickly going to seize advantage of the situation. Alundra Blaze stands herself up. Here comes Robin. Misses with the crossbody big time. That did not pay off. Alundra Blaze gets her back inside the ring. Robin quickly back up on her feet. Here's Alundra. Alundra Blaze whips Rockin' Robin to the far corner. Robin counters with a knee. A rebound off the ropes that doesn't find the mark. A quick counter from Rockin' Robin on Alundra Blaze. Blaze gets a hold of Robin, whips her into the corner. Turns her around. Alundra has her up on the top turnbuckle. Look at this right here. Oh, man. Nasty Hurricane Rana from Alundra Blaze. Robin could be in trouble. Alundra Blaze stalking her. Smelling blood in the water. Goes behind. German suplex. Rockin' Robin caught all of it. As Alundra Blaze drags Robin towards center ring. Rounds her up, hooks the leg. Hey, wait a minute, hold on. Jake the Snake Roberts deciding this time for a little bit of interjection here. Decided to have a discussion with Willie Johnson as Alundra Blaze catches a jawjacker from Robin, gets pitched into the far corner. Alundra counters with an elbow. Robin counters with a leg sweep. And that's it. Jake the Snake Roberts has been ejected. Willie Johnson has had enough. Not a very tolerant man when it comes to bending the rules. Alundra Blaze gathers Rockin' Robin back up. Whips her to the corner. Has her up in the top turnbuckle. And one more time, she's going for that Hurricane Rana. Crashing Rockin' Robin towards center ring, right in the heart of the logo. Follows it up with a stomp. Goes for the cover and hooks the leg. 1, 2. No! Shut up! Rockin' Robin getting that left shoulder up. Alundra Blaze stalking Rockin' Robin again. And here we go from behind one more time. Here's a pin with a bridge. 1, 2. Oh, man, I thought that was going to be it. Alundra Blaze not able to hold the pin on Robin. Robin drives a knee into the face of Alundra Blaze, and she says, I'm all right, don't worry about me. Like Kenny Loggins. Arm drag from Alundra Blaze. Blaze rounds up Robin. Hangs her up against the top rope, pays her back with another top rope hangman. Follows it up with a stomp to the midsection. Slams the face of Rockin' Robin into the canvas. Gathers her back up again. Robin counters with an elbow to the midsection. And a clothesline. And a second. And a drop kick. That takes Alundra Blaze down. Where are we going here? Rockin' Robin makes her way to the middle rope. Alundra Blaze makes her way to a standing position. Here we go. Whoa! What a shot. Both ladies laid out. Rockin' Robin might have hurt herself, but she has put Alundra Blaze out to lunch. Goes for the cover, hooks the leg. 1, 2, 3. Whoa! Rockin' Robin picks up another win over Alundra Blaze. Let's go get the official time.
The time was 12 minutes and 26 seconds. And your winner, Robin.
Rockin' Robin just about knocking herself out with that last high-risk move off the turnbuckle. But it certainly paid off, putting out the lights on Alundra Blaze, allowing Robin to pretty neatly garner a 3-count pin, and while she herself broke no rules. Seems like Jake the Snake got on the referee's nerves, getting himself bounced from ringside. But Alundra catches an L at the hands of Rockin' Robin, padding a pretty nice win-loss record.
It sure has. Rockin' Robin has impressed the hell out of me, and yeah, she's definitely going to be competing for championship gold somewhere during the summer, and I'm kind of looking forward to that. We'll be back with our very next match right after these very important words from whoever. Back in a minute.
We're closing out the first hour of 3 with the RWL Mid-South title on the block, with Best of the West Billy White Moon defending the strap from the Unholy Trinity's primetime Bobby Mills.
It ain't quite the OK Corral, but it's gonna be a hell of a showdown.
This next match, set for one fall with a 15-minute time limit, is for the RWL Mid-South Championship.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I did say at the outset that it was an all-hands-on-deck affair. And the gang is certainly all here, Tex. Dirty Dutch Mantell, Big Bob Duncombe, and of course the man of the hour, the challenger in this title match, Primetime Bobby Mills, with a mammoth opportunity to garner the Mid-South title. He is just one pinfall or submission away if he can get it over on Billy White Moon.
That is an ambitious project, Dandy Don. Ever since Billy White Moon got the Mid-South title away from Tito Santana, he has held on to it with both hands, all 10 fingers and all 10 toes. So far, nobody's been able to get it back away from him, not even Tito Santana himself. Rick Martel's tried and failed. I don't know that Primetime Bobby Mills has what you call the wherewithal to be able to get a pinfall or a submission over Billy White Moon.
The Unholy Trinity certainly getting a pretty cool reception here in Dallas, with Billy White Moon's hometown of Norman, Oklahoma, being a near neighbor to the north of Texas, and the entire Best of the West faction has boomed in popularity the first half of this year, and things continue to look up for White Moon, Jim Dandy, and the Lone Star Superstar Tex McKenzie.
And on the flip side, you got the Unholy Trinity, who are about as popular as a social disease at an orgy.
I'm all in for White Moon. I got a feeling he's gonna leave that ring canvas squeaky clean when he's done mopping it with Primetime Bobby Mills.
Ouch! Well, that's pretty nasty, Christy.
She's right. He is going to mop the floor with him.
Well, certainly not a great deal of optimism for Primetime Bobby Mills, the number one contender for the RWL Mid-South Championship. Not a whole lot of faith being placed in primetime outside of Dirty Dutch Mantell and Big Bob Duncombe.
Yes, indeed, and here come the big three, the Best of the West. Billy White Moon, the son of Chief Sam White Moon, the RWL Mid-South champion, joined by his tag team partner, Jim Dandy Deacons, and the Lone Star Superstar Tex McKenzie. And like you said, they have been hot for the last 6 months. And they keep going up, and they keep becoming more and more popular with each and every passing week. Like that match with Tex McKenzie and Lars Sullivan has certainly raised his stock pretty significantly.
Tex McKenzie's the senior man in this grouping. I remember him from his days in the IWA in the Midwest.
Well, so far, Billy White Moon has not relinquished that RWL Mid-South Championship to anybody, and I got a feeling he's not going to give it up to Primetime Bobby Mills either.
Introducing first the challenger, along with Big Bob Duncombe and Dirty Dutch Mantell from Pineville, West Virginia, weighing 224 pounds, primetime Bobby Mills. His opponent accompanied by Tex McKenzie and Jim Dandy Deacons from Norman, Oklahoma, he's the RWL Mid-South champion, Billy White Moon.
Man, this is going to be a great way to wrap up the first hour of 3 hours of wrestling tonight. Primetime, looking quite ready, so is Billy White Moon. Willie Johnson rings the bell, they come center. Oh man, White Moon with a forearm right of the way. Primetime takes him down to the canvas. White Moon counters into another headlock. Look at this, Primetime trying to find his way out. Pushes White Moon against the ropes, pitches him to the ropes. They collide, kick to the midsection from Billy White Moon. A quick counter and a takedown from Primetime Bobby Mills. Primetime with a single leg crab on Billy, but White Moon shoves him away almost effortlessly. A kick to the chest is countered by Primetime. Primetime tries for a clothesline, catches a one-arm slam from White Moon instead. A stomp to the midsection. He winds up both arms and gets ready to pull the switch. Boom! Oh man, that is some painful business. Primetime Bobby Mills catches a kick to the back from White Moon, followed up with a stomp to the midsection. White Moon rounds up Primetime. Primetime counters with an elbow to the leg. Rounds up White Moon. White Moon counters with a shot to the midsection. And check out this neat wraparound DDT right center in the heart of the logo. Big Bob Dunkum becoming involved here as Primetime succeeds in distracting him with an inverted Russian leg sweep, slamming White Moon face first into the canvas. A gouge of the eyes. A shot to the midsection from Primetime. White Moon whipped to the corner. A clothesline from Primetime takes him down. Either Dunkum or Dutch Mantel has introduced a chair into the ring. And they're trying to take apart the turnbuckles too. Willie Johnson momentarily distracted as Billy White Moon takes himself up to the top rope. Billy White Moon, oh man, doesn't make it, doesn't land, doesn't connect. Primetime whips him to the corner. Billy White Moon counters. Primetime counters. Billy White Moon pitched out center ring. Primetime setting it up off the middle ropes for a fist drop, and he nails it. Primetime Bobby Mills being encouraged by Dutch Mantel, and Big Bob Dunkum drives a knee into the head of Billy White Moon. Cover one, but only just a one. Primetime Bobby Mills catches an arm drag from Billy White Moon as Willie Johnson gets rid of that chair. A clothesline from Primetime Bobby Mills takes Billy White Moon down to the canvas. Primetime looking supremely confident here. Knows full well he's just one pin or submission away from being Mid-South champion. An elbow to the face of Billy White Moon. White Moon pitches the corner, catches the clothesline, winds up down on the canvas. Primetime gonna round him up again. Primetime Bobby Mills escorts Billy White Moon to the ropes. Hard whip to the opposing side. Tries for a scoop slam, but no, catches a knee to the midsection. Here we go. It is Indian sleeper time. Billy White Moon's got it locked in. Primetime Bobby Mills in. Oh, he is it. That is it. He is tapping out. And just like that, Billy White Moon retains the RWL Mid-South Championship. Wow, that was quick.
The time was 4 minutes and 21 seconds. Your winner, and still Mid-South champion, Billy White Moon.
Check out the look of elation on the face of Billy White Moon, doing his dad proud again. Of course, his father, Chief Sam White Moon, now works in the front office, and I'm sure he's watching, and he's got to be so proud of his son, Billy White Moon, who has successfully retained the RWL Mid-South Championship over Primetime Bobby Mills, spoiling the unholy trinity yet again. Big time kudos to Best of the West. Wow.
And I'm sure, after that embarrassing routing at the hands of Billy White Moon, Primetime Bobby Mills, Dirty Dutch Mantel, and Big Bob Dunkum will be licking their wounds backstage for the rest of the evening. A very impressive and very rapid win for Billy White Moon, retaining the Mid-South title.
All right, fans, that's the first hour in the books, and that's only the beginning. More RWL Mat action when we come back with our two.